Prediction Central Podcast. Hate me or love me. There's no in between. So, shout out to Moon. Has a great channel. He does actual scenario videos of what's to come with the planet Earth, WW3 scenarios, women hitting the wall. He does everything, like pretty much. Really good content. This is my first time doing a reaction on Moon's video, which is it's going to explain a lot because it's showing how me personally believing in the government on how they are trying to depopularize the earth within the next 100 years. Yes, depopularize the earth within the next 100 years. We're in 2023 right now. Pretty much the population is going to deteriorate down to maybe 80% down because birth rates are low. No one believes in families no more. They don't believe in men and women having a strong family foundation for their kids to grow up in. No one believes in owning a home no more. We're gonna have famine. The recession's here. Genetically modified food is destroying men and women, creating more testosterone in women, creating more estrogen in men. The roles are being reversed genetically. Men are more infertile with sperm count being low. Men, young men 18 or older aren't being sexually involved with women. It's being treated as casual sex, like Moon said. They don't believe in, a lot of people don't believe in marriage before the womb. It's crazy. But it's a lot of things that's going to suffer in the world coming. 21, 23, I won't be here. Hopefully I get to paradise with God. But it's looking really bad for the human race in general. And they want the planet to be 80% down. They want 500 million people on the planet. They said it in the Stonehenge, Georgia Guidestones. That's why they blew those up. It's real. It's becoming biblical. And like I said, with everybody with the sex changes and all that stuff, God don't even know who anybody is anymore. But they try to stay righteous. Check out the video. Watch this.
Sperm developing two heads, to running out of drinking water, genetically engineered superviruses, nuclear war, and trillions of jellyfish. The next 100 years really aren't looking good for humanity, and here's just a few of the reasons the world population will plummet by 80% over the next century. Beginning with the growing crisis of fertility rates. You see, sperm counts in men across the world have dropped by over 50% in just 50 years, from an average of over 100 million per milliliter to just 49 million. And now for context, anything under 50 million makes conception incredibly difficult. And with this decline speeding up -2% every single year, more and more men risk infertility. Now, BPA and other plastics have been shown to massively interfere with hormone levels during pregnancy, which often leads to low testosterone and deformed sperms. This is why for the first time in history, our sperm is now having deformities like two tails or the wrong amount of heads, making your own sperm unable to function properly. Which is why over the next few decades, you're going to see more and more of your friends and family unable to ever have a child of their own. By 2025, average sperm counts will have slipped below the healthy minimum, and then as this trend continues, they'll have reached zero by 2049. This crisis is going to get much worse in the run-up to 2030, which feeds directly into the next massive problem humanity faces, the collapse of the traditional family structure. Of whether it's a symptom of societal progression or moral degradation, it's the fact that couples are having children much later on in life. Because in Western society, we're now placing careers, power, success, and money over happy family units. And that's why the worldwide average of how many children a woman will have has now dropped significantly in just the past half century, from over 5 to just 2.4. And in many Western countries, most women aren't even having kids anymore. Japan, the UK, America all face population collapse. Because as countries get richer, this problem just becomes worse and worse. Singapore, for example, has a birth rate of just 1.3 on average, not nearly enough to sustain its population. By 2030, there will be over 1 million less children in the UK and over 1 million more pensioners. And the consequences for these countries is a much heavier burden on young people to support the old, which just pushes the birth rate even lower as a result. Over the 2030s, the damage this has done will be plain to see. People cite education and contraception as the root cause of this, but this really isn't the full picture at all. And this leads on to one of the main problems that Generation Z faces. You see, nearly 30% of young men. Young men who have had their testosterone and sperm destroyed haven't even had relations with a woman since they turned 18, triple what it was just 10 years ago. These hollow digital replacements for real human contact are partly to blame, as they are physically changing the brains of Generation Z and help sweeten the bitter pill of loneliness for a long time. But this is just the start. With ChatGPT and AI on the rise, new AI girlfriends and boyfriends will be the next level of this. As how could real people hope to compete with design perfection?
AI girlfriends and boyfriends, which this is called a replica app. See, check out the replica app. And these are replica app is a replica app that says you could modify a girlfriend or a boyfriend to speak to you in the morning, give you sweet nothings in the air, send you actual text messages to your phone like you're in a real loving relationship with someone at home. But there's no one at home. It's actually digitized. This is fucking insanity, bro. And people don't realize this because they're so infatuated with social media. Social media became the real world to some people. And that's why you can't be mad at people when sometimes they travel a lot, but some people travel not to see the actual culture. That's why when I travel, I don't take pictures of the food that I'm eating or the people that I'm talking with, because I'm actually trying to enjoy myself and understand their world of not and not being on my phone and actually having some type of real dialogue with someone that actually lives in these places. This is crazy. So now you're yearning for people's touch and stuff like that, but you believe in AI can love you better. And this is what they want. They want the population to be low enough so they could control the population and get rid of the motherfuckers that think for themselves. And this is what's happening. This is Joy. Joy is a emanator detector. It's face type, height, eye color, lip color, hairstyle, ethnicity, language. It's amazing. And this is the same picture from Blade Runner 2049. She's the replica that he was in love with because he was a fake damn, what's the name? I can't really remember the name of what they would call him in Blade Runner. But this is what he came home to, and she popped up to his girlfriend, but she wasn't really real. It was just someone to soothe his loneliness at the time. But it's not a real touch, and you always still yearn for a human touch. It's crazy.
But online dating is also a massive factor. Today's young men have to compete with thousands of others now.
Social media destroyed it.
The men in your tribe, you've now got to compete with thousands of people.
Thousands of men.
Any woman they can get, leading to an ever-increasing inequality in the dating marketplace, where 80% of the women only want to date 20% of the men. I mean, at the rates we're seeing today, it's no exaggeration to say that half of all young men will be out of the dating pool by around 2040, with the incel population growing immeasurably. And this is because
incel, involuntary celibacy.
Bringing up children is just a burden, and that sex is just something to be casual. But these changes in dating and the decline in the family are just one part of the puzzle here. Instead, the true population decline will come from catastrophic disasters and new dark technologies. The 2040s and beyond will be when our advanced technology truly gets dangerous. This video is brought to you by Manscaped.com, uncovering some disturbing possibilities. Ray Kurzweil, Google's director of engineering, predicts that we're going to reach AI singularity by 2045. But what does that even mean? Well, as AI improves, it will quickly reach human levels of intelligence, and then beyond. But if an AI gains sentience and the ability to continually improve on its own code, it will eventually create a loop of accelerating intelligence that will catapult it far past our levels of understanding. And at that point, it's impossible to predict what AI will do next. And that's why Google's recent study with Oxford University now states that there's a 10% chance AI will wipe out humanity. And these are the people who are creating it saying this. A super intelligent AI is incredibly likely to see us as an existential threat, seeking to wipe humans from the face of the earth.
When Skynet becomes aware, quantum learning, super learning, a supercomputer learning on a quantum level.
AI is the pinnacle of morality, not humanity, as AI serves as a moral standard and a source of law for humans. But as Nietzsche also argued, and thus spoke Zarathustra, in the first place, for Nietzsche, people are defined by a relationship between order and chaos, and AI would be entirely governed by order. But without the chaos of desire, emotion, and impulse, it would never be inhibited, which is why it will inevitably overtake humanity. And so to stop this one-dimensional threat of AI, we need to have much stricter controls in its development before it's too late. It will be in the 2050s or possibly earlier that a sentient AI capable of ending civilization could be created. But you see, the threat of AI wiping out humanity is just a 10% chance here. The real threat from AI comes from how society would deal with how many of us it's going to replace in the future. Just like in the Industrial Revolution, the displacement of millions of people from their livelihoods will cause massive social upheavals. You see, it was the Industrial Revolution that led to the rise of extremist ideologies and the subsequent world wars. And the AI revolution is just going to be so much larger. Whole industries will be made obsolete once their jobs are affected by AI. Jobs like drivers, bankers, doctors, lawyers, pushing hundreds of millions to billions into unemployment by 2050. And once that hits society, the resulting ideological extremism and wars will be far larger and more destructive than anything we've ever seen before. But humans don't just need to worry about what's happening in the future. The way that we abuse our own natural resources today is going to cost us dearly. You see, while most types of poverty have gotten significantly better over the past century, water shortages are expected to significantly worsen. By 2050, the latest UN prediction states that over 5 billion people will face severe water shortages. And it'll only get so much worse from there. Fresh water levels simply can't keep up with increased demand. Without the continued development of innovations in converting seawater or other solutions into pure water, countries like Brazil and India in particular will be dealing with perpetual droughts. This in turn would devastate crop yields, causing massive famines and significant reductions in population. Not to mention global wars surrounding this issue. That's why the massive droughts that we're seeing today will be nothing compared to what's going to happen in the 2060s and beyond. And you see, it's not just fresh water we need to worry about. The oceans are going to be significantly changing over the next century, as human waste is making them more acidic. The oxygen levels are changing, and the nature is being infested with plastics. All of this plus massive increases in fishing has decimated our ocean ecosystems, leaving the door open to other forms of life like jellyfish. Now, jellyfish aren't as affected by pollution. In fact, they're now starting to thrive as we remove their main predators. And by 2080, they may be all that's left in the ocean. Studies now predict that our abuse of the oceans is going to leave 70% of them without enough oxygen to sustain fish populations, making the famines we're already predicting even worse. And so if we ruin the planet and wipe ourselves out, the jellyfish will be one of the main things left to inherit the Earth. And as crazy as this sounds, it's predicted that by 2070, real fish will have become a luxury product, only affordable for the top 1%, the rest of us being left with nothing but jellyfish. What these giant corporations are doing to the planet right now is going to affect every aspect of nature, not just the oceans. And we're already starting to see the destabilizing effects it's having. Recent natural disasters like floods and wildfires have been getting so much more common because of how quickly the climate is changing. And this is disrupting weather patterns, making some of the world hotter and drier whilst having the opposite effects in other parts of the world. And these kinds of disasters cost the US alone nearly $150 billion. Resistance to them has drastically increased. These superbugs are becoming impervious to modern medicine, meaning we can
impervious to modern medicine.
Tuberculosis, cholera, and even the plague.
Cholera.
For reference, the Black Death killed 30 to 50% of Europe when it took hold. And so if you take into consideration the idea of mousepox and these new superbugs, an engineered disease in our ultra-globalized world could be incredibly devastating, which is why by at least 2090, it will be very possible for rogue organizations and terrorists to develop these kinds of weapons, which is undoubtedly the biggest existential threat for humankind. And so with all of these things in mind, it would be a miracle if the world escapes without a major conflict in the next 100 years.
So you see the video by Dr. Moon, and it's trying to help the population out, but we're not going to make it as humans by 2090. The population is going to significantly decline by the numbers in droves, like 100 million dead, 200, 500 million dead, 600 million dead, 3 billion dead, 4 billion dead, and they're going to start with the water and the fish. What are we going to do? Eat jellyfish? And this is what they plan on doing, modifying the jellyfish and selling you jellyfish in fucking cans and trying to find nutrients that can help you out with it's fucking insanity. The elites got us right where they want us. Now, the new Fed loan is coming in July 1st. Zelle, Cash App, PayPal, all that's dead. The value of the dollar is declining significantly. They don't even want you to get paid in dollars. Everything's going to be electronically funded. You're going to be paying bills. Everybody's paying with chip. You're going to get the RFID chip, the mark of the beast soon. If you don't lay down and get the mark of the beast, you will suffer. It's just that people are too busy worried about the LGBTQ mafia. The diversity, the country's so diverse right now is ridiculous. And we was perfectly fine with MAGA in. You telling me people don't see that the Biden administration destroyed this fucking country? They destroyed it, bro. They destroyed it. If you don't see they destroyed this country with having you thinking they cared about black people or anything in that nature, they still ain't call Ice Cube yet to help out with the black community. This is where everybody needs to wake up, man. The melanin ain't gonna save us from the actual science. The science is showing us that the family is dead. People are worried about career, wealth, and success and casual sex more than actually having a family. And my children, I just get upset every time a baby mom is just feeding my son Chick-fil-A and all this nasty shit. It's ridiculous. But Chick-fil-A is cheaper than actually making a goddamn meal these days. It's insanity, man. Prediction Stitcher Podcast. Hate me, love me. There's no in between. Hopefully you listened to the whole video and got to this commentary. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Help me out. Shout out to Dr. Moon. Fair use. He explains great videos. Subscribe to his channel. Subscribe to mine. Help me out with the algorithm. It is what it is, man. May God have mercy on all our souls, bro.